Right, let's go to one of our main stories this evening. The Director General of the Communication Authority of Kenya, Francis Wangusi, today disclosed to the Senate that the authority neither knows the foreign nor local directors of the Chinese firm Pan-African Network Group that has been licensed by the government to distribute digital broadcast signals in Kenya. Wangusi further revealed that Pang has not complied with the constitutional requirement, which states that 30% of shareholding in foreign companies must be owned by locals. The Senate's Committee on Legal Affairs and Human Rights cautioned that Pang could be operating in Kenya in contravention of the Constitution, and has directed the Communication Authority of Kenya to provide a list of the company's directorship by Wednesday next week. Patrick Amimo has more.
The Senate's Committee on Legal Affairs and Human Rights is investigating the standoff between three leading media houses and the government over digital migration. The Standard Group, Nation Media Group and Royal Media Services are accusing the government of attempting to force them distribute their free-to-air content through foreign-owned pay TV companies, Star Times and Pang, after the authority dismantled and confiscated their analog transmission equipment at their main transmission site in Limuru on Valentine's Day.
We have no way of verifying all these things. There is a Kenyan who is an investor in StarTime. Are you able to give us the names of the directors, because you actually have a CR12 from them, of who it is that owns StarTime and what is the local ownership of Pang or StarTimes?
We have asked the registrar of companies to be able to give us if there are any details, because I think all the details go to the registrar of companies. But we have also written to Pang asking them to bring us the shareholders of that company from where it is registered within, I think through a notary kind of arrangement, to bring it to us within a week to find out who the shareholders are.
So Article 35 makes it mandatory for you to tell us the actual shareholding and who these names are. And the state shall publish and publicize any information affecting the nation. It affects us to know who these shareholders are. And therefore you have a constitutional duty to divulge to us who are these local shareholders, what are their stakes in it, and also verify at what point they were incorporated into this company.
We will have failed you every piece of paper on anything in our possession. It is your right, it's our responsibility as government to share that information with you. Even on the directors of Pang, I'm suggesting that the Director General brings the CL12 of Pang so that you can see yourselves. The information in our possession should all be given to you, because as government we have nothing to hide. We are very
It is by law that Pang by now should have given 20% of its shareholding to the local investors. We were even expecting some of these media houses to be able to buy the shares of Pang so that it can be able also to reflect what the law says.
That information should include the ownership of the 30% local content and I'm glad that the Chief Cabinet Secretary did confirm that he will adhere to the constitutional requirement.
Standard Group, Nation Media Group and Royal Media Services have petitioned Parliament to extend the analog switch-off date to 30th May in order to allow them set up digital infrastructure ahead of the June 17th global deadline. But the government maintains it will not reverse decision to switch off analog frequencies.
And therefore they say, you know, that date is not cast in stone. But if the push comes to the shove, then they are prepared to comply by end of May, before 16th of June, and Kenya would have complied.
We are not going back to analog platform. So going back to the analog platform is not on the table. There are other things and there are many other options of trying to help them, but going back to the analog platform, that is not on the table. We are not going back.
They will remain as broadcasters, and if they want to go into another broadcasting market, then we license them under a different name, but with strict conditions to protect competition. So in that particular case, we cannot give them a BSD license to distribute on behalf of others, and yet they are also distributing their own channels, because we will be able to find it difficult in managing that kind of competition.
Speaker of the National Assembly, Justin Muturi, has invited Information Cabinet Secretary and Communication Authority of Kenya boss to a high-level meeting over the weekend to discuss possibilities for all-inclusive alternatives that will see KTN NTV, Citizen TV and QTV back on air. Patrick Amimo, KTN.